Chesney here, and sometimes there are moments where you have little motivation to cover something new, and coming up with new concepts is tough. In times like these, it can be beneficial to remember your roots, as sometimes it requires thinking back to go forward. There is certainly no time better to look back on the roots of Chesney, especially with the second anniversary of me doing motivational content. And let me tell you, they are definitely the roots. There is a stretch that I like to call the beginning of the journey. These first 10 or so videos were not good by a long stretch, but they were very experimental and did have a message behind them. Well, that should be enough of me talking trash about my original work as people usually do. Let's get behind the videos, their messages, and how my views have changed throughout the years.
Hey y'all chicken lovers, this is Chicken Man here. Okay, so this is my new vlog series, Inspirations. Today will be the basic idea of why I started this. Certain events inspired me, and this is my telling of certain events and reflections upon them. I hope that these events move and inspire how many viewers there are. Certainly something moving happens every week that is moving and has a happily ever after feel. Quotation marks on the happily ever after hit. This is mostly new to me, though hey, if startup time made anything not worth doing, nothing would get done. I say right here, feel free to comment. This is here to talk with my new viewers. I hope you guys enjoy this. Chicken Man out.
The good old episode I love referring to as, should I delete this? I was enjoying almost forgetting its existence. All the ripping on how bad it is, though, would be pointless. How terrible it was is what's honestly endearing about this video. The lesson or message from it wasn't found in the video itself. It's one that I've actually never really discussed before. This was my chance to settle down, to get the butterflies out of my heart, and say that I'm gonna settle down and seriously do this thing. If you can't tell, good things can start out just by doing these simple things. Good things come from humble roots. It started nowhere, but also was the start of everywhere.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so this blogging thing has survived an entire episode already. This gets the optimism up. Oh, actually that's a good one. Optimism. Even its name sounds uplifting. Though with the whole half-full, half-empty deal. Oh boy, that's a good one. I'm halfway to the next refill. Sounds like I can put an 80s joke in there. What would that be? Oh, I'm halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. In all seriousness, though, I actually got the idea of this video on the beach, which is heavily ironic since I do not like the beach at all. All that sand and water that I don't swim in, but I saw somebody make one of those tidal pool things. I was bored, so I did the logical thing and started piling up sand. I am about as smooth as butter, so I spent 20 minutes making a hole with sand rising to make a tidal pit, one that legitimately holds water. I stand up, wipe the non-existent sweat off my forehead. I had accomplished something. Yay. And then a speedboat went by and the waves crumbled it back down, and my first thought was, oh crap, no! Yup, in the infinite wisdom of instant reactions. But then my second thought was, well, thank God life isn't like building these things. What, did you think this was some kind of metaphor? Nope! But then here comes the true lesson of the story. I started building it faster, knowing that the speedboat could knock it over. Then after a few minutes it came out beautifully, most likely ugly looking, but it did its job, and when the speedboat came by again, it only made the pool deeper, and it kept its integrity to the giant waves. You probably go, okay, seriously, you thought all of this for something little kids spend 5 minutes making at the beach, I say, when you are someone with all the artistic capabilities of me, it's impressive. Oh yeah, and I can finally draw something straight. Circles.
This video was less me getting the kinks out of the way and more me shouting out like, "Hey, cool! I can do this!" My first thought when rewatching this video was, oh my, this actually hurts. Cringe level on this episode? Off the charts. Indeed, my scripting and voice acting were dreadful in this. However, I actually think that this second video is probably among my top 20 episodes in personal preference. It had a message that was brief, but thought-provoking. This was a video that I always pondered what it would be like if I was good when it was created. And that is what makes it already leagues better than episode 1. Heart and message entered the series and was there to stay.
Okay, so the series has survived 3 episodes. Hip hip hooray! I had difficulty thinking this week, so I came to deciding to do the one thing that has been haunting me the past couple episodes. I didn't exactly tell you everything on the first episode. Shocker, right? I decided not to at the point because I thought that it would be too soon to do so. Errors were made, but they will at least be corrected here. Reason for doing these. In my recent life, I have noticed that little things that I do for people, ones that I used to consider irrelevant and likely to go unnoticed, I did them because I can, and aim to be kind everywhere I can to anyone I can. But I soon noticed that there have been people who have had their lives changed for the better by the little things that I do. The way that I speak, my impartial kindness to everyone, etc., etc., etc. I stepped up at the end of the school year. My favorite teacher was retiring. I made and sent her a very personal thank you letter of how she changed my life. I had never expected to get what I got the last day of school. A letter from her that I keep because it inspires me when I look at it almost every single day. It drives me to keep the kindness that poured these very words into motion. I will quote few for a lot of the letter is personal, but lines like, "You have made a difference in my life. Every day I have looked up for your presence in our class." I wanted to continue inspiring past the point of where I was at, past the people I meet in daily life, and to continue worldwide. I care not if these videos hit many ears, just that it improves the day of those who do. There's also a second cause, one that I have brought up before. The fact that I am autistic, and I also make these videos because they put me outside of my comfort zone. I have difficulty speaking to people, and my first scripted videos were honestly flops. These flops became what you are watching now, and I have not done improving myself yet. I hope that this all sheds a better lighting. I do these videos for you guys. Please comment your opinions. I want to improve myself and give you all the best experience I can. After all, it's the least I can do for you watching this video.
Episode 3. Man, I don't even know where to start with this one. This episode was absolutely barrier-breaking for me. Seriously though, you guys don't have any clue how anxious I was about openly saying all that at this point. It was a full let-out of emotion and the full heart pour that people could come to expect from me in future videos. It was so successful in my mind that I personally didn't have another episode take its place for about 4 months of inspiration past this. Mind you, they were far technically better, but the reason why this particular one will always stick in my heart is because of how forthcoming I was, and just the things that I said. Mind you, you weren't the one pulling things off your chest about your life in this one, but I'll say this was definitely the turning point of inspirations. I'll end on that before I create an entire speech about this.
Oh my gosh. I had hoped that I never had to discuss this one. It is kind of controversial. Puns out of the way, I have been thinking about this episode for months, yet never dared to do it, since I find controversy today to be one of the silliest things ever. It usually starts from the silliest things blown out of proportion. Maybe one side is right and the other wrong, yet the way that everyone handles themselves is not proper to the righteous cause they represent. In the end, it just becomes a massive mosh pit of rage, one where nobody's the winner. Maybe it could be handled well, with common sense, if it didn't become a media frenzy as something getting all the rage on Facebook and the other ones. Seriously, it's like I'm surrounded by kindergarteners. Or modern society. And no, I am not going to mention any specific controversy in this episode. Why? Because they all end up exactly the same. Everyone huffing and puffing, splitting families and friendships apart, all to come to one atomic stalemate that very slowly fades until some internet troll pokes it. Hope I don't get any controversy for this. Chicken Man out.
For every 2 steps forward, take 1 step back. Welcome to my frustration to the 2016 election cycle. I mean, people were annoying during this time period, but at the time I thought that this was needed. This certainly was not needed. At least it was short, but it is my least favorite Inspirations episode to this very day. A mistake that I despise with a burning passion. It was bad, guys. Just bad.
Before we begin, I want to shout out the speech by Michelle Obama. If you haven't watched it yet, click the top left corner.
That when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
Oh man, I love that speech. It reaches past common politics. Anyway, continue on with the episode. Ironically, this episode's name was the same as a script I made for this series back in winter. It was a chance for my first scripted ever, however at that point I was afraid. It was more open-ended than what I commonly did. Open for criticism. Indeed, this series had some starting problems, but after a few flops, this series went underway. Let that be a lesson to you guys that being afraid to start something is normal, but only empty worry holding you back. Go and do it. And just for that one smarty in the comments section, yes, you, before you write down some comment about murder or robbery or something else absurd, you know what I mean. I was afraid of how the reviews of this series would be. That a slip up of words and everyone would get angry. Yet 5 episodes in and it's been the most consistently viewed series on this channel. Now I speak with confidence. That goal that I made so long ago, it's coming true before my very eyes. To that I have to thank you, my viewers, for the support you've given me. It turns out that just a little bit of confidence you need to start something is minuscule in comparison to the gain in confidence from doing it. Whatever great cause you plan on working on, don't worry and just do it.
The amount of confidence you need to do something is minuscule in comparison to the confidence you gain doing it. Seriously though, I forgot how good this episode actually was. I was more innovative in this one than before, and for a long while after. The callback to the then fresh-out speech of Michelle Obama was a nice memory to good times and a very good speech. Seriously though, that speech was top tier, especially considered that I remember it now 2 years later. I love the fact that this episode was about confidence, and you could hear the confidence in my voice. I had finally broken all the barriers, shaken the really big gimmicks out of doing the whole thing. And after that, I was free to improve my style from my humble roots and start taking on what Inspirations is today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to catch more of this style content, especially the rest of this particular series, as I have quite a bit more of my old videos to bring up. Catch you then. Chazone out.